Alice Cooper, obviously a huge part of the rock scene. He's a global superstar and things like that. And Nita, Kip Winger was involved. He had a hand in you joining up, didn't he?
Yes, Kip was actually the first person to send a video of me playing to Alice's manager, Chef Gordon. He actually sent a video from the LA Kiss. He sent a video of me playing the national anthem. And that was a cool introduction, I think, because it sort of showed that I could hold my own in front of a lot of people, a stadium full of people. And that was my initial intro to them. So very, very grateful to Kip for putting my name forward and changing my life.
And in terms of the audition, then, I mean, what was the audition process like, and how long did that take until you got to actually find out that you were joining Alice?
It was actually all via video, so very modern. The Alice Cooper band is all spread out all over the world. We have one guitar player living in South Africa, one living in Switzerland, drummer living in, and bass player living in the States. So it's not really feasible to get everyone together to audition a bunch of musicians. So they had me send a series of videos, gave me a lot of notes back and forth. And my initial pass was not what they were looking for. So I'm grateful that they sort of gave me notes and let me refine it until I really showed them that I had what it took to really jump in with not a lot of prep. I met the band for the first time on a Monday. We rehearsed Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we had the first show on Friday. And then we had a week of warm-up shows and then went into the Motley Crue Alice Cooper tour, which was about a 2-year tour. So just jumped right into the deep end of the pool. And now that was almost 10 years ago.
Oh, crazy stuff, isn't it? You just mentioned there that the first pass wasn't quite what they were looking for. What can you remember what you did on that first pass? What was it you did wrong or wasn't quite right?
Yeah, they really, when I took my first pass, I wanted to show them everything. I want to show everything I could do. I was playing over the neck with one hand, like sweeps and arpeggios and tapping and like all the stuff. And the note that I got back from Bob Ezrin was, "Have you ever heard an Alice Cooper song?" Like, this is not what it sounds like. So I really the note that I needed was just to dial it back, to play more for the song. And in retrospect, I probably would have done it the same way because I wanted to show them everything that I could do and what was possible. And now, of course, we're playing a lot more 80s Alice in the set. We're doing Lock Me Up, Roses on White Lace, and Teenage Frankenstein, a lot of the Kane Roberts era of Alice that is sort of unlocked by being able to do that, more chaotic tapping and stuff that Kane was so known for. So I'm glad they know I can do it. And I'm also glad that I was able to dial it back enough to show them that I could play 18 and Billion Dollar Babies and Poison and not step all over them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then everyone I've ever spoken to who's worked with Alice, whether that's Desmond Child or Damon Johnson or Michael Monroe, they all can't speak highly enough of him. He's just a superstar. He's a legend. And what is he like to be around then? And what have you learned from him?
He's the best. I'm just going to echo what everybody else that you just said says. He's the absolute best, the consummate pro, never has an off night, never has a bad show. He's 30, 40 years older than me, and I'm still trying to keep up with him every single night on stage and off. He has limitless amount of energy. He is so kind and generous with his time with fans. Um, the biggest thing I think I've learned from him is that everybody that's ever met Alice Cooper, whether it's Michael Monroe or, some guy down the street and, at the Hot Topic in the mall, anybody that's ever met Alice Cooper says, "I met Alice and he was so nice. I had the best experience with him." And that's what I hope to bring with me as I like sort of navigate my own career, my own life. I want everybody that meets me to have that experience of like, I met her and she was cool.
That is very cool indeed. And just on another person to touch on as well, Demi Lovato, obviously slightly different from the likes of Iron Maiden or Alice Cooper. So how did all that come about, and what was the decision behind that?
Yeah, it wasn't as different as you might think. Demi is a total rock star and wanted to go in a more heavy direction with her new music. So she's got a great rock album that came out in 2022 called Holy Fuck, and puts together an amazing all-female band to tour on that album. And it wasn't really so different to all the other rock tours that I've ever done because it was a rock show. We had distorted guitars, big guitar solos. I used all my same guitar tones. There wasn't like, hey, you need to make it sound more pop. It was a rock show. And Demi honestly is the same as Alice in that respect. She has so much love and respect for her fans and understands that, these are the people that got her where she is today. And it was just a joy to be around. I had a great time.
Oh, fantastic. And just something else, master classes, clinics. I mean, you've literally been all over the world doing these. And so why do you feel it's so important to share the love of guitars and to help people improve and tips and things like that?
I think it's a responsibility of, all guitar players to pass on the things that we know, to inspire, whether it's the next generation or, the previous generation of guitar players, to just get people inspired to try new things and get out there and play. It's probably the biggest thing I talk about in my clinics is just like get out there and play guitar. So many people think that because they're not in a band or because they don't live in a big city that they can't have a fun and rewarding, fulfilling career in music. And you can do anything from anywhere. Technology is amazing, so that's probably the biggest thing I talk about is just getting out there and playing guitar in front of people.